Hey everybody, Rich from Virginia Beach here. It is Friday, December 20th, 2024 at 7:48 p.m. 1948 if you're military folk. I'm going to start a new segment and it's going to be called Dickie's Diaries. I was kind of inspired, believe it or not, by Kenny Wallace when he has his little thing with Coffee with Kenny. And he had me cracking up tonight talking about his cruise ship experience he just got done with, and how he how everybody gets sick on cruise ships. I wouldn't know because I've never been on a cruise ship. 24 years in the Navy, I have no freaking desire to be on a cruise ship. I've spent entirely enough time out on the water on a ship with a whole bunch of other people, and I have no inclination whatsoever to do that again. I might do it just to see what it's like, but everybody I've talked to that has done that couldn't wait to get back home. So I can't imagine I'd be much different. So tonight's episode is going to be why Dickie doesn't fly. And I can point to one exact specific incident that is forever etched in my mind, which leads me to the conclusion that it is to my best interest to not fly again if I can help it. Now, I have flown one time since then. Drove my daughter out to Arizona. We did a 10-foot box truck, drove all the way from Virginia to Arizona in like 2.5 days. That was fun. And I flew back. So, but, and that wasn't that bad. And that was post COVID. That was like 2021, and it was the Yuma, Arizona, very small airport. Everybody else was wearing a mask. Dickie wasn't wearing one, and Dickie wasn't gonna wear one. So they never said anything to me about it. Never wore a mask. I was friendly, and I think because of that, nobody gave me a hard time. But if they would have gave me a hard time, I would have pushed back. Not sure what was going to happen. I'd probably still be in Arizona 3 years later, 3.5 years later. I don't know. But anyway, this happened in late 2017. I was flying back from my sister's house. She lives in Ohio, up close to Cleveland. Beautiful place. It's actually called Hudson, Ohio. It's a beautiful little eclectic town. I love going up there. It's not where I grew up. I grew up in Mansfield, Ohio. Born in Crestline, grew up in Mansfield, joined the Navy, and never lived back in Ohio again. But I sure love going back up there and visiting family and friends and whatnot. So anyway, I went up there for the holidays. Went up there in mid-December and come back like the 4th of January, 2018. So technically it happened in 2018 because it was on the way back. Didn't have many problems on the way out there. We got a nice airport here in Norfolk. Don't have any. I've never had any problems here at this airport. Um, but I was flying out of Cleveland. Had a wonderful time there, Christmas and New Year's. I had a red eye special out of Cleveland, Ohio, really early in the morning. My flight was at 6 o'clock in the morning, leaving out of Cleveland. Well, I don't like that airport, but it's the closest to my sister's house, so that's the one I come in and out of. So my brother-in-law had his chauffeur, his driver, pick me up from their house and take me to the airport. That was pretty cool. I'm not used to getting treated like that, but so I said my goodbyes the night before, and I disappeared into the morning light with the chauffeur, and in the airport I go. So I had one check bag and one carry-on bag. I try to travel as light as I can. So I got in there as soon as the airport doors. Well, actually, they were already open. I got there at like 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. Um, Checked my one bag in, and all I had carrying with me is a little backpack. So they didn't open the gates up to the terminals because they don't open them up till later, apparently. I didn't know that. So I'm stuck downstairs in the lobby, got my bag checked in, I got my backpack, I'm just sitting on a chair. And all of a sudden, and there's this big gate that slides across where the security checkpoint is and all the terminals are downstream. So I'm sitting there, I see people starting to mill around this gate. So I'm like, oh, it's about to open. So let me get up there and stand in line. I was like first in line. Now about second or third in line. There was a couple people in front of me. And being that my flight's out at 6 o'clock, I want to make sure. It's like 5:30 at this point. I've been sitting in that lobby forever. And so it's about 5:30. I'm thinking, man, they're cutting us close. I still got to get through security. I got to make my way all the way down to the right terminal, to the right gate. I'm starting to get a little antsy that I'm going to have to start running through the airport, which I do not want to do. So I'm standing there, and the longer I stand there, the more pissed I'm becoming because I don't like waiting around. Even though I got there early, I'd rather wait at the gate. I'd rather get where I need to go and wait till the gate opens and then go. Stand there, and I see all these people there. And all of a sudden, the TSA agents show up. There's like 3 or 4 of them. They're on the other side of the fence. And they're just milling around looking at us like we're just a bunch of dunderheads. And it really kind of irritated me that they're acting like that. So finally there's this other agent comes along on our side of the fence. And now it's like a 5:45. I have like 15 minutes to make it through security and get to my gate. Now I'm a little pissed. So I asked one of the girls there. She's probably about 25, 26 years old. I said, I asked her, I said, excuse me, can you tell me about what time this gate's going to open? I got a flight out in like 15 minutes. I haven't even been through security. She looked at me and she said, put her hand on her hip. She said, the gates will open when the supervisor gets out of his meeting. I said, well, yeah, that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. I don't know what time your supervisor gets out of his meeting, but I would like to be at my gate before the flight leaves in 15 minutes. And she just gave me this look and rolled her eyes and walked away. And the more I stood there and the more I thought about that, the more I just want to reach out and grab her by the neck and pick her up and shake her a couple times and set her back down. But I didn't say anything. I'm just playing it cool. And the more I stood there, I literally had like 5 minutes to get through security. They practically make you undress, which is against the 4th Amendment anyways. Unreasonable search and seizure, without a warrant. And there I am, taking my shoes off, taking my belt off, disrobing, and I got to be at my gate in like 5 minutes. Checking my ID, checking my boarding pass, checking all this. Everybody in line, got their kids, everybody's in a hurry. And by the time I got to my gate and sat on the seat on the airplane, boarded just right before it was ready to leave, I had a pretty bad taste in my mouth. I thought, you know what? Why do I pay all of this money to be treated like this? And since I've came to that conclusion, I have done a little research on TSA, and TSA's figures aren't very impressive. There was like 600 times since TSA was established, right after 9/11, by the way. They started taking all our freedoms from us, and nobody ever jumps up and down and says anything about it. Well, I don't like it. And so I'm not going to participate in it anymore if I can avoid it at all cost. So I thought, the whole time flying back, I was pissed. It was a shitty flight. It was a bumpy flight. It was just a miserable experience from the moment I walked into the Cleveland airport to the moment I walked out of the Norfolk airport and finally sat in my pickup truck, getting ready to come home. That whole time, there's like 6 hours in between because I had a layover in between. That didn't go too bad. But the whole experience was just, I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable, and it was not something that I enjoyed. It was not something I plan on doing again. So I don't think I will do it again. So they could just take that traveling and shove it right up their ass if they want to make it like I'm a criminal and they have to strip search me and treat me like I'm some kind of a second-rate citizen just to fly and pay all that money and fly. Nope, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to drive. Next time I go somewhere, Dickie be driving. That's all I have for tonight. These are short little clips. There'll be more to come. And hopefully the next one will be a little lighter humor and not so serious. So y'all have a good one. Take care and peace.